Welcome to another MedTech Gurus podcast, where we meet and discuss trending and educational topics that are important to today's medical technology sales and marketing professionals. Now, it doesn't matter if you're new to the space or if you're a seasoned medical sales and marketing professional. You all have come to the right place. You see, the medical technology world is ever changing, and MedTech Gurus will help you stay up to date by interviewing experts and opinion leaders. Now, we call them gurus, and they will bring you information, techniques, and strategies that are sure to help you enhance your knowledge and help you bring value to your customers and your company. Now, I'm Sylvester Harris, and I'm pleased to introduce your host for MedTech Gurus, Mr. Tom Hickey.
Hey, what's going on out there, Gurus? This is Tom Hickey, your host of MedTech Gurus, and welcome to episode number 276. In this episode, we dive into the transformative power of AI in life sciences with Ome Ogbru, CEO of Aingens. Ome shares how his innovative AI-driven tools streamline scientific content creation, enhance engagement with healthcare professionals, and uncover groundbreaking insights from data. From speeding up clinical study reports to simplifying communication, Ome's solutions are revolutionizing the industry. Tune in as we explore real-world applications, discuss the future of AI in life sciences, and uncover valuable lessons on successfully implementing AI-driven platforms. Stay with us for an insightful and enlightening episode. But before we get into the episode, let's thank our sponsor, Accelerant Consulting. Gurus, GPOs, RPCs, IDNs, you can make your head spin. Don't go it alone. We understand you need to get those sales going and boost that bottom line, and you need to do it now. Let the experts at Accelerant Consulting guide you through today's complex healthcare market. Check them out at accelerantconsulting.com. That's EXCELERANT consulting.com and do it today. Okay, Gurus, here it comes, episode number 276. And remember, if you like what you hear, please subscribe, leave a review, and most importantly, tell a friend. Welcome, MedTech Gurus. Today, as I mentioned in the introduction, we have an outstanding guest with us. Ome Ogbru, CEO and founder of Aingens, is with us. Dr. Ogbru is a visionary leader with over 2 decades of experience in biotech and healthcare, and he's here to share his expertise on how AI is transforming content creation, communication, and discovery in the life science industry. Dr. Ogbru has held leadership positions with many of the industry's top companies. He has pioneered an innovation framework that has transformed medical affairs by leveraging digital tools, omnichannel strategies, and advanced analytics. Today, he's at the forefront of developing AI-driven tools that simplify scientific writing, empower researchers, and unlock groundbreaking insights from unused data. Hey, Ome, are you ready to be our guru today?
Oh, I am so excited to be on this podcast, Tom. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's great to have you. We're excited to have you as well. So tell us a little something about yourself or your family so we can get to know you a little better.
Well, something that I'm really, really passionate about recently is I picked up pickleball. I go to the gym at Lifetime Fitness, and I see people playing the sport, and it looked very interesting. They looked very excited. And after a few months of just walking by and, watching them, I decided I was going to jump in. So I picked up a paddle and I jumped in. And lo and behold, I picked it up very quickly because I've played other racket sports like racquetball and ping pong and badminton in the past. And it's so much fun. I'm always dreaming every day, I need to get on the pickleball course.
I love it. It looks like it takes a lot of quick reflexes to me.
It does. Sometimes the ball can move very fast, but from what I'm learning, the professionals are telling me it's not even about power. It's about accuracy and placement. So trying to get your opponent to make a mistake is what they're telling me. But I like just hitting the ball hard.
I love it. That's fantastic. So, Ome, you're leading innovations that enhance scientific writing and communication. I'm wondering at a high level if you would explain the challenges in traditional scientific content creation and how your AI-driven tools are addressing these issues. Can you help us out with that?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. So traditional scientific content creation is very time consuming and it's labor intensive. It also requires a lot of specialized skills as well. So professionals don't only need to understand their subject matter, they also need to communicate in a written format. And it takes many years to learn those skills. And the actual work itself takes time. So if you think about the continuum of, or the workflow of creating scientific content, you first have to do your research. That takes time. You have to analyze the results of your research and understand them and pick what you want to use in your content. That takes time as well. And then you have to summarize the literature and write a draft. And then your draft needs to be sent to reviewers and other people to look at it and comment. And then you have to update it, edit it, and then you finalize it. And you can finally publish it or use it for your, or send it to your end user. This process could take hours, it could take days, it could take weeks, and it takes a lot of time. A manual PubMed search alone can take hours. Now, what we've done at Aingens is we've looked at the problem and decided that, you know what, AI can really solve this. This is what AI is good at. But in order for AI to work for this particular problem, it needs to be coupled with other tools that will really help professionals use the technology to create what they want to create. So the solution is called MACG, Medical Affairs Content Generator, and it's a complete solution that helps all aspects of the scientific content creation workflow. So from literature search, and for instance, we have PubMed, you can use the AI to search PubMed. So work that took hours now takes seconds. It has a citation generator, so your citations are automatically added to your content. You can add charts, you can add images, you can translate to multiple languages, you can adapt to diverse audiences, and you can polish your final document. So for every step of the content creation workflow, this tool can help you do that with AI as your assistant. It not only speeds up content creation, but it also enhances the quality and reliability of the scientific content as well.
Yeah, I love that. And I'm thinking really at a high level, it's almost like having your own personal librarian sometimes searching through some of those documents, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when it comes to searching literature, that's a skill that people need to learn as well. But with this tool, because you can search in your natural language, you just tell it what you're looking for.
Yeah. And
it searches all 30 million plus records that are in the PubMed database. And you know what I discovered recently?
What's that?
You don't even have to search in English. You can search in your native language.
Oh, that makes sense, I suppose, but that's got to be very, very helpful, right? So especially I'm thinking about like collaborating with a team, perhaps a global team, right? It might be advantageous to help create the right sort of insights with that. That's
absolutely.
Great. I'm wondering too if you might provide maybe a real world example of how your AI powered content creation tools can enhance productivity. Do you have any examples for us?
Yeah. So AI powered tools like MACG and others that may be adapted for specific use cases significantly boost productivity by saving time along the content creation pathways. Experts estimate that using these kinds of tools can cut the time it takes to create a clinical study report, which takes weeks after all the data has been gathered for the study, can be reduced by 50%. Now you can see how that could increase the speed of regulatory submissions and how that could reduce cost and add efficiency to that process. Now, for professionals who want to author a paper, for instance, they can use tools like MACG to write the complete paper. So starting from writing a draft or even writing an outline that they can share with colleagues to get input to make sure that they have the right roadmap for what they want to add in their article. MacG can help them do that. It can write all aspects of the paper, including formatting to what journals require as well. And once they have that first draft, they can circulate it to other stakeholders to get input and fine-tune the content that they're developing. Other ways that it can help, and this is particularly very helpful for life sciences companies, medical device companies as well, is a lot of times the audience that you want to reach are consumers, and they may not understand all the technical language that you often see in clinical trials and publications. So things need to be written in plain language for them. And this is an area where AI is especially helpful. So in a lot of companies, that is work that's not often done because they just don't have enough resources. It costs a lot of money to hire a company to translate your content to plain language. But with AI, you can do that in seconds. You can now create targeted medical content for your websites. You can now localize content in any language so that content that's created in English for one market, that same content in local language can be repurposed in another region. So there are many, many use cases for this type of technology.
Yeah, that's outstanding. And I'm thinking also, so many of the med device companies have to respond to supply chain value analysis, which have their own language really. And I'm thinking it can be adapted and perhaps even your turnaround times can be sped up. Am I heading down the right track with that?
Oh, you absolutely are. You absolutely are. I mean, we can talk about use cases in medical information, which is similar to what you're alluding to, where you receive a question from the healthcare professionals, and it can take time to write that response back. But with AI, you can do it so much faster because if you already have the knowledge and you can point AI to that knowledge source, and then all you have to do is write a good prompt to ask it what you want it to create for you, and it can answer that question for you.
Yeah, outstanding. So doing some research, I noted that you've also discussed AI's ability to uncover hidden insights in life science data, which I find fascinating. So how does AI support data analysis and contribute to revealing insights that may have been missed? And then perhaps how does this help a biotech or medical device company use these insights? Do you have any thoughts for us there?
Tom, this is a challenge that I've been trying to solve throughout my life sciences career. And I'm going to tell you a story, right? So, and I'll use this story as medical information. So we receive a lot of medical information inquiries, which is an area where I've spent a lot of my career in biotech and pharma companies. And we have to analyze these inquiries because there are insights, right? So whenever someone asks you a question, right, they've just told you what their problem is, right? And if you can gather enough of these and if you can analyze them, you can get a good insight into what the challenges are about your product or what people want to know. And you can use that information in many ways. But prior to AI, all we could do really, the tools that were available could only help us capture how many inquiries we're receiving. And they could help us capture the types of inquiries we're receiving, who we're receiving it from. And this is the kind of information that's called structured data. So we've already told the tool that, if you get a question like this, this is how you're going to categorize it, or it's manually done by team members who are responding to the inquiries. The real nugget, though, the real insight that we needed to find was in the unstructured data. And in order to get to that unstructured data, we had to look through each question one by one and categorize it and tabulate it manually. That is very painful. And I used to do that work because we needed those insights. And I still remember those days as well. And I will tell you, it was not fun work. And I will also tell you, I probably missed a lot of insights too. And it took a lot of hours and it was painful. And to make it even worse, I had to now manually create my presentation from whatever insights I was able to get. So a lot of time was spent. Not as much value was obtained because the manual process just could not analyze the data as well. But now with AI, you can do that. This is what AI is very good at. So AI, because of machine learning and because of natural language processing, it can analyze all that data very quickly and extract all the insights out of that data for the professionals to use to formulate their strategy, to inform their strategy in different areas of the organization, from publication to marketing, to MSL engagement tools, to medical information. All throughout the organization, they can now use that data, and it can be done very quickly. Moreover, AI can capture sentiment as well and recommend actions to address gaps. Life sciences teams can use this data to also show the impact of their work on the business, an area that is very important to them.
I'm also thinking that, I love the questions, because if you're getting a lot of questions, I'm thinking that it might also be able to point to gaps, perhaps in like a user manual or training for the operators or the users of your technology, right? Am I heading down the path there?
Absolutely right, Tom.
Yeah, I love it. So we also were talking a little bit about this overlooked research data and then using that for groundbreaking discoveries. I'm wondering if you have any examples of how this has impacted real-world research. Do you have any examples for us there?
Yeah, there are a number of use cases for this, actually. And I think the one that struck me the most that I heard about recently is a company that is actually using public data and some private data to look at drugs that already exist in the market, that are already approved, and finding ways to repurpose those drugs for diseases that have no treatments. And I think this is really, really very powerful because it takes a long time to find new treatments. And there's so many thousands of diseases and conditions that do not have adequate treatments. So if this can be done, and if this is successful, and has been successful actually in quite a few cases, I think maybe 28 repurposed drugs now for multiple diseases that have really impacted lives globally. And as this becomes more of an everyday approach to discovering therapies, I think that will really make a difference to the lives of many individuals. Another use case is using real world evidence. So real world evidence is often not used in clinical trials, or it's often not considered as much. As you know, the holy grail of scientific information is the clinical trial, the comparative clinical trial. But real world evidence also plays a big role. And with AI, it's easier to analyze that real world evidence from medical charts, for instance, or from practitioners who are treating these conditions, and using that to inform how clinical trials are developed or how treatments are discovered.
Yeah, that's fascinating. In thinking about that a second, a lot of our gurus out there are very interested in innovations and looking at new trends. Do you have any thoughts about how AI might be helping predict the next big breakthrough in life sciences, and what impact it might have on researchers and industry professionals?
Yeah, absolutely. So because AI can analyze a lot of data, and it can do it very quickly, and surface those insights and knowledge that we were talking about, you could use AI to analyze trends. You could analyze new scientific literature, patent filings, which companies are getting sponsored and getting the grants. And through all this information, you could probably get a sense of where the data is going, where the science is going, and where things may happen next. But what is more exciting for me, though, is AI is in the forefront and center of discovery of new cures. And I think one of the most exciting things is Google's DeepMind AlphaFold. I don't know if you've heard about this platform, but it predicts protein structure. And I believe now that this AI technology has actually mapped out the structure of all close to mapped out all the structures of all the proteins that we currently know about. But aside from that, it can also predict how these proteins will react with other types of molecules, or how these proteins can be transformed into other substances that may be beneficial in the cure of diseases. This technology is already being used by many biotech and pharmaceutical companies to accelerate drug discovery and will lead to breakthrough treatments in the future.
I would think that might also help once they start moving down the FDA pathway too. Is that something that's been done?
Yeah, actually companies are doing that right now. There are companies that are using AI technology to reduce the time it takes for drug approvals. And I believe there's one that's nearing submission currently.
I would think if you could show your data on all the proteins that you used, right, and compared, it might be a good foundation for that FDA submission.
Absolutely. I would imagine so as well.
Yeah. So I'm also thinking about experiment design and how critical that is to successful research outcomes. How does AI help us refine or define a hypothesis and help design smarter, more efficient experiments? Do you have any thoughts for us there?
Yeah, I think one of the key things is learning from what we've done in the past. So if AI can analyze, and if it has access to the data, it can analyze what did we do in the past and how successful was it? What was the past design of similar clinical trials? And what were the issues? What were the gaps? Why did they not succeed? So AI can do all this analysis. And using this data, it can help us refine our hypothesis. It can help us design smarter experiments by simulating various scenarios and also predicting the outcomes as well. This leads to more efficient use of resources and time. It enhances productivity for researchers and scientists by allowing them to focus on experiments with the highest potential of success. As you know, there are a lot of drugs that do not succeed, and a lot of times they fail in the clinical trial phase. So if by using AI, we can have better experiments, we have a better idea of what will succeed and what will not succeed, this will really save time and save cost as well, as clinical trials are very, very expensive.
Yeah, for sure. So, Ome, you've led processes for incorporating insights into medical strategies and improving communication speed with healthcare professionals. I'm wondering what impact these initiatives have on improving engagement with these professionals, and are there any lessons our gurus can take from your experience?
Yes, absolutely, Tom. And I'll give you this example from a previous company. We implemented a process called MSL fulfillment to reduce the time it takes healthcare professionals to receive standard responses and to drive engagement between the HCP and the MSL. So essentially what this is, at most companies, when an MSL has a question that they're not able to answer, or they do not have the contents to provide to the HCP, they send a request to the medical information department, and where their colleagues will analyze the question, put together a response, or send a response that's already available to the HCP. Now, as you can imagine, that process takes time, right? Because the MSL has to send it, the MedInfo team has to receive it, and they have to read it, understand it, put the package together, and send it to the HCP. And sometimes the HCP may not receive it, may not open it, or maybe the opportunity has been lost because they've moved on to other things. They're very busy. But what if, for some of those questions where a response already existed, what if we gave the MSLs the ability to provide the information to the HCP? So remove MedInfo from the loop and have the MSL directly provide that content to the HCP. how will that impact engagement and turnaround times and the ability for HCPs to have the information in a timely manner? So what we did was we gave MSLs this ability so they could send the information themselves, what MedInfo would have sent. With MedInfo having the responsibility of providing the system, providing the process, and checking that MSLs were following the process and providing the right information. What we found was better engagement within HCP and MSL, because before the MSL ended their conversation with the HCP already had the follow-up information. Mm-hmm. So they could confirm right there and then that he received the information. If he had any questions, they could continue their conversation or follow up with the HCP later on. This also improved turnaround times as well. And if you have enough volume, you can see how this could also impact the costs and the resources that are needed to support HCPs and the medical information team.
I'm also thinking, in a way you brought us full circle, right? Because if you're getting all these questions coming across, right, that's the potential for additional research or looking at that data. Am I heading down the right path with that?
Well, you're absolutely right. Because as the questions come in, that is data that needs to be analyzed, that needs to be sorted, so that you can get those insights from the data and provide better responses, better content, better resources.
Yeah, close some of those gaps, right? And that
absolutely.
Yeah, I love that. So, you've been at the forefront of innovation, really, I think your whole career, as I did my research. We've got a lot of gurus out there who would be interested in some of the key lessons you've learned about successfully implementing AI and digital tools. A lot of folks are struggling with that. There's innovative companies out there that are trying to grasp this. So what advice would you give them in terms of how to use this for their own platforms or their own innovations?
I think when I think about this, so I'm coming from this from a different angle now. Now I am the one that's developing these tools so that companies can use them. But when I wore a different hat where I was trying to find solutions for the challenges that I was facing, a number of things come to mind. And I think the first thing is for technology like this is to understand the technology. So you don't have to be an expert in the technology, but at least understand what it can do for you. What can it do for your problems that you want to solve? So I think that's the first step. And then the second step is really identifying one problem that you can solve with this technology and that you can measure as well. So start small with a well-defined problem, show success, learn quickly, and then improve from there. I think one of the challenges that people sometimes fall into, or traps people sometimes fall into, is trying to solve everything all at once. And you build this massive, gigantic platform. And at the end of the day, it may not solve a problem for anyone, and it may even create new problems as well. The next thing that people should probably think about is you have to know your team and company culture. Are people open to new ideas and change? Are they terrified of artificial intelligence? So knowing this information means that you will have to do a lot of work in educating people and bringing them along to work differently and to try something new. So you'll have to put a strategy in place for that as well. Embrace failure and learn from it. And this is how technology companies, the biggest technology companies, this is how they approach discovering new technologies or implementing new products. You have to be willing and comfortable with knowing that you will not get it right the first time, and be willing to learn from that and then improve from it. And also, I like to say that today's best idea may not be the best idea tomorrow, because tomorrow we may be smarter. Tomorrow, the problem may be slightly different. So we have to be flexible and nimble enough to be able to adapt. And then finally, when gurus are ready to dive in and to purchase a platform, I think it's very important that they purchase scalable AI platforms. What I mean by this is don't get locked into something that you could not easily build upon or easily adapt as the technology changes. The AI technology is moving so fast that you don't want to spend massive amounts of money on a system or a solution that is not scalable. Because in a few months, your very expensive solution may become obsolete. So you want something that's scalable and something that you can easily adapt to new problems that you want to solve.
Oh, that's great advice. So, Ome, it seems like this is a really exciting time for you and your team at Aingens. What does the future hold? What are you going to be doing in the next 5 or 10 years? And where are the innovations taking you? Do you have any thoughts for us there?
Yeah, so at Aingens, our focus is narrative generation and engagement solutions. In fact, that's what Aingens stands for. It's AI narrative generation and engagement solutions. So for now, that is where our focus will be because there's a lot of work that can be done there. And we've started with MACG, but we do plan to grow from there and build other solutions as well, together with our customers to help them solve the problems that are most pressing for them. But AI technology as a whole, though, is very exciting. I see it having a profound impact on many aspects of life sciences, including personalized medicine, drug discovery, and patient care. I predict that more people will have an AI-first mentality versus a fear of AI technology and of not using AI at work. Those people who are not using 5 to 10 years, people who are not using AI at work will be underperforming compared to their peers. This year, though, I'm particularly excited about agentic AI, which gives us the potential to really automate routine processes. And at Aingens, we'll be looking at agentic AI as well to see how we can provide that to our customers to help them with their pain points.
It sounds like a really exciting time for you and your team. So, Ome, if we want to learn more, how do our gurus learn more about what you and your team at Aingens are doing? Is there a website? Are you on LinkedIn? How do we find out more?
Yes, thank you, Tom. We are on LinkedIn, but you can also go to our website, which is aingens.com. That's aingens.com. So aingens.com. And the solution is called MACG, and that is MACG.
That's fantastic. So, once again, thank you so much for being our guru today. We really appreciated the time and insights that you brought to us.
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to MedTech Gurus. I am Sylvester Harris, your MC. If you want to learn more about Tom and his consulting services, you can go to www.pctmedical.com or email Tom at tom@pctmedical.com. Now, I can be reached at Sylvester Harris, that's SylvesterHarris 5048@gmail.com, and I'd be pleased to discuss any voiceover work that you may want for your company or broadcast. Hey, thanks so much for listening, and catch us on the next episode of MedTech Guru.